Speech Pitch by Iska Sak.
Hi there, and welcome to Speech Pitch by Iska Sak. I'm Pascal, and today I have with me Kum Wai, and I'm very delighted to have you here. You're actually from Klass Engineering and Solutions from Singapore. Quite a far way to travel to Interspeech.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's a 13 hours flight from Singapore to Amsterdam, and then another, 2 hours transit to Rotterdam for this conference.
Quite some dedication. So could you please give us a brief outline about you and your research as a person, or like your position at the industry?
So I'm not an academic person for this conference, but I'm a partnership manager from Klass, my company.
Yeah.
So I think my capacity here is to have, find out more about any research collaboration, research opportunity with the partners and institutes down here. And at the same time, help collect some research materials for my speech analytic teams back in Singapore.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. My company, Klass, spells Klass. It's a Singapore-based company. We mainly do applied R&D, research and development work on public safety sectors and the use cases.
Well, cool. That sounds quite interesting, and also I think it's quite an interesting angle to approach speech analysis from perspective from that kind of project work. So could you give a brief, concrete outline? As concrete as you can go, of course, for the projects. What would be ending up on your desk, and how does it relate to speech or speech technology?
Yeah, so I won't be touching anything sensitive in terms of the project specific, but I think at the core, Klass has been always looking at speech-related research and innovations since 2018, since the inception, actually. And back then, Singapore, one of the biggest challenges is because Singapore is a multilingual, multicultural country. So there are a lot of races, blending in their own languages with our main languages, English. So one of the target is to actually improve the ASR code switching capabilities for our homeland public safety use cases. And moving on from that, I think the current areas that we are looking into is to actually how to improve the efficiency of translating capabilities, more importantly on offline or edge deployment. Because, for example, of the use case that one of our stakeholders they are looking for is how to have, for immigration use cases, how to have efficient speech-to-speech translation over the counter, but without, compromising the privacy of the session. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that makes it nicely tangible. And for these projects, you said you're doing mostly R&D, so you're doing probably initial prototypes, but not seeing it through production, right? It takes some time then to.
Yes, exactly. I think you're asking the right question. So for applied R&D, we are mainly looking at proof of concept proposal and development, and we are not talking about productization yet, scaling up yet, because fundamentally we are looking at the core of the problems. Yeah, and especially now related to the speech as well. I think one of the use cases is there are a lot of up-and-coming generative content. So one thing to be cautious about regarding to public safety is to look at how can we efficiently detect deepfakes. Audio deepfakes, and how do we explain which part of it is actually fake or which part is not.
That's also another very relevant and interesting topic that's quite represented at Interspeech in general, I think. So it seems like you're at the right place for that to be.
Yes.
Yeah, also this angle that you're doing, mostly proof of concept works, makes it quite being right at the pulse of technology, right? Then productization has some overhead and takes some time, but then it sounds quite cool to be at the spear front and see what technologies are there, what potential applications could be. So maybe transitioning then, or relating this to Interspeech itself. So was there some new developments? This is the end of the first day, so there's probably way more to come, but is there some sessions or some talks that stuck out to you in particular already?
For the first day, I've been to mainly focusing on speech translation. So I think I found one of the poster quite interesting, which is looking at German dialects using just 7 hours of read and synthetic speech and achieving quite surprising WER rates. So we will be looking closer at their paper and then try to replicate that. Yeah. Because Singapore, like I say, there are lingos, there are races in Singapore. In fact, in Singapore, there are multiple dialects just for Mandarin itself.
Yeah.
So one of the use cases is to how can we expand just the code switching to dialect code switching.
Yeah.
To localize it for our use cases.
Yeah, that makes absolutely sense, and it's, as you said, like probably quite a unique place and needs unique solutions. And I think in Singapore, from the little that I know, it's having money and funding, right? That's a huge advantage. And we always talk about low-resourced languages and stuff, and I think it's quite an interesting playground to see what can fly there, right? Like what is actually possible if there's funding behind it. So
Singapore always position ourselves, very prominently in our region as an innovation hub.
Yeah.
So a lot of innovation initiative. Our government, is not afraid to spend money on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think at the core of it, what we are trying to do at Klass especially is, leveraging technology, AI, to automate certain processes.
Yeah.
As you know, right now, in the world, I think not just for Singapore agencies, government agencies, or I believe we are facing the same problem, is the aging population.
Yeah.
How can we, supplement the current labor with some AI innovations to help accelerate or even, maintain the current proficiency and the workflow process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some cool dynamics. And to see how you can solve these problems then on a scale there is then the next step there. Related, of course, and I think that makes also sense to address here, though, is of course privacy. And you touched already on that, for example, for this immigration use case, you look for solutions that locally deployed offline, basically, that don't leak data, hopefully. Or how do you emphasize this aspect of privacy in general in the projects? Is this a theme? Yeah.
Okay, so right now, we haven't fully solved the problem, to be honest.
Yeah.
So right now, I think the naive way of doing it is just, having the H box there.
Yeah.
And then everything will be housed on the boxes.
Yeah.
And then we are still finding ways to help the customer transfer that data back to their own, DC data center.
Yeah.
And it's a huge challenge because, we have to adhere to some kind of hardware and software hardening processes. Yeah, this is something that is ongoing. So I wouldn't say we have really have a proper solution for that yet.
But it's also like proof of concept stage for the project that you're doing, right? So that's expected. And then you need to showcase these issues early on. And as I said, like privacy and so on. In general, like how you can approach it then on a production scale, like not only research, but on a production level later on. That's good. And then like regarding Interspeech. So as you said, like it's the first time that you're around here. And I think like your perspective is quite interesting, really coming from industry. There are prominent industry sponsors of Interspeech as well, of course. But for me also like coming to look at which innovations are there and so on. We found some interesting poster already today. And is this something that your company has sent people to already, or is it are you really the first delegate who comes here to Interspeech from Klass?
No, actually, interesting fact is we have been sending people here religiously, I would say, every year.
Yeah.
And I have a colleague, speech researcher, Ivan. He has been coming to the conference year-on-year basis. Yeah. In fact, aside from Interspeech, we also visit like ASV's booth once every 2 years. Yeah, and then the previous 2 years ago, I have two other colleagues from my PMO team. They also, join and then look at research opportunity and then collect research materials as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
As I said, like that's quite some interesting angle to go to look at Interspeech, that you see the things that are being here approached in basic research, then finding the way to proof of concepts in your case, and then also production ready. So on a production basis, that's quite nice. Yeah, thanks so much for your impressions. Thanks a lot for your time, for being here as an interview partner. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Thank you so much for having me. And then for those listeners, if you wish to follow us on LinkedIn, please do so. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Cool. So thanks for tuning in for this bonus episode. We might be interviewing your favorite speech researchers in the future, so be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening to your podcasts. You can also follow Iska Sek on X and LinkedIn to stay updated. Until next time, have fun.
Speech pitch by Iska Sak.